Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am Julia Ribeiro, Program Officer at the Systematic Reviews Network, and I'll be your moderator for today's session, Basics for Conducting Bibliometric Analysis. Before introducing our esteemed facilitator, I'd like to briefly share a few key facts about the Systematic Reviews Network, especially for those attending our webinar series for the first time. I'd also like to ask everyone to please put in your chat box your name and where you're joining us from. So one moment, let me share my screen. So SRM, formerly known as ACSRM, African Community for Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analysis. We were officially launched on December 8, 2022 and December 19, 2022 at the University of Rwanda, and the University of Lagos, Nigeria, respectively, through seed funding received from Rising Scholars, formerly Author Aid. The SRN is a community of practice established to support the production and use of systematic reviews and meta-analysis in low and middle income countries. The network aims to bridge evidence gaps in the low middle income countries and transform lives by guiding decisions with robust context-specific evidence. As you can see on the slide, there's our website. You can free to review it during the free to review it after the session.
Hi, Julia.
So I'm now going to yes, Fortune.
Sorry, your slide is no longer showing. I don't know if it's from my end.
I'm not sharing. 1 second.
You can stop and reshare.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see.
I was able to see.
Oh, everybody was able to see.
Yeah, now I am not able to see.
Oh, okay. So you all are able to see now?
Yeah.
Give me a thumbs up if everybody can see.
Yes, thank you.
Thumbs up. All right. Okay, great. I'm now going to introduce you. Okay, I'm going to share with you very quickly the upcoming events that we have coming up. We will share a link and also the Systematic Reviews Network website where you will be able to see all these events. And we will also be shared an email of the upcoming events as well. All right. So the first one we have here, Dr. Riaz will be joining us just now. And then we have another one coming up on the 1st of October. Then we have our big workshop in November. Then we also have other workshops coming up here on the 4th of December, and this one on the 5th, 12th, 19th of December. So we look forward to seeing you all if you all are interested in joining us. So now I'm going to introduce to our facilitator, Dr. Riaz, Assistant Professor at Lyapur Business School, Government College University, Faisalabad, Pakistan. Dr. Riaz holds a PhD in corporate finance and is a CFA ESG certified with over 14 years of teaching and research experience in accounting and finance. He is a published scholar in Scopus Index and HEC recognized journals, the Springer, Emerald, and IGI Global, a contributor to international book chapters and an editorial board member and reviewer for leading journals, including Sustainability and Plus One. Dr. Riaz is widely recognized for its expertise in sustainable and green finance, corporate governance, behavioral finance, and bibliometric methods. As a seasoned trainer in tools like Vast Viewer, Bibliography, eViews, GRETL, and Jamovi, he has led numerous workshops and mentored MS, Masters and PhD scholars globally. His accolades include Best Presenter and Research Productivity Award, and he actively serves in professional networks such as Global Ambassador of Sustainability, Euromed Academy, and Deji Park Academic Turkey. Now we're going to have Dr. Riaz.
Yes, thank you very much, Julia. Hopefully, am I audible to everyone?
You could go ahead and share your screen.
All right.
It's not
Now,
in
hopefully,
presenter mode. Okay, now we've seen it.
all right. Thank you very much, Julia, for the very comprehensive introduction. My dear students, fellow members, attendees from different countries, I welcome you all and thank you for having me. Our today's session is about the basics for conducting bibliometric analysis. For those who are are not familiar with this terminology or this concept of studies, you can say if you are very much new in research and you want to know something about a topic, so this is you can say a good start. But before that, in order to you can say jump directly into the bibliometric analysis, I want to know like how many of you know about the systematic literature reviews. So just show me the thumbs up so I can got the idea that people know about systematic literature review. All right. So this is exactly I want to confirm that like before jump into bibliometric analysis, we want to touch little bit about systematic literature review. And our content for today's workshop is to just to know about the SLR and bibliometric analysis, the overview, and then what exactly the bibliometric analysis and what are the different applications of bibliometric analysis and what are the indicators of bibliometric analysis. The last part that I highlighted in yellow is basically the VOS viewer software. If we will have a time, so I will show you to develop one such because we are having a very limited time. So I will try to show that one. Otherwise, we will have another session on the completely the application and the practical approach of this software. So before you can say like we start, we need to know about the systematic literature reviews and somehow the importance, the fundamental, the steps, the Prisma protocol, the Prisma checklist, and the paper format of systematic literature review. Let me tell you guys. For example, you are doing a research and your supervisor, your teacher asks you to read 300 papers, 500 papers and give me the review. And after going through all these papers, you like able to generate 1 or 2 pages of report that this paper is all about this. But trust me, if you just go through one paper of systematic literature review or one paper of bibliometric analysis, that is more than equal to 300 to 500 papers of a normal literature review. The reason is that it gives you a very comprehensive detail about the topic, the number of publication in that particular area, the number of countries that are involved in that topic of research. For example, if you are working on the nowadays the global trend is artificial intelligence. So you want to know that which countries are working on artificial intelligence. So you can simply go through or write a systematic literature review paper. So this is the importance of this particular area. And like what the basic concepts of systematic literature review. The Prisma. Prisma is basically the flow chart, a protocol for doing the systematic literature review. Remember, later on, I will explain how this exactly works. But like here, you need to go through 500, 1,000 papers, 3,000, 5,000 papers, and you can't remember them all. So we are doing some checklist, and that checklist are actually done through the Prisma flowchart. And this technique helps us to stain the best articles that are actually relevant to our field. And we will discuss something about the paper format. I will show you some work as well. So why systematic literature review is important? Because it shows the like a body of knowledge and understanding any problem. You can do it with one variable or you can do it with multiple variables. And you can know what are the common methodologies that are used in that particular research. For example, if you're working on digital technologies and financial performance, there you can find the quantitative papers, you can find the qualitative papers, you can find the mixed method of research. But the thing is, which methodology actually support that? So these papers will help you to determine the best methodology that support your research. It is a quick way of grabbing the information, and it is very easy to publish. Since 2021, I have seen there are so many papers were published in systematic literature review on and bibliometric analysis on different topics. It is, and if you are in MPhil, and if you are doing research oriented degrees and you are doing a dissertation or thesis at even PhD level, and even you are a faculty member, so I strongly recommend you to write and encourage your students to write a bibliometric paper. The reason is that uh, this paper actually give you a very comprehensive detail about that. Being a PhD student, you have to go through a lot of papers, like approximately 2,000, 3,000 papers. And then we were able to make our research model. So with the help of bibliometric papers, with the help of systematic literature review papers, it is very much easy to make this one. And these papers are highly cited and highly reported by the researchers. And you can say you can find different publisher accepting the systematic literature review papers on a very large scale nowadays. And then what exactly it is, the thing I'm talking about, what exactly the systematic literature review? It is basically you can say an empirical evidence for explaining certain research questions with following this specific criteria. It can be used quantitatively, it can be used qualitatively. All right. So what exactly the mechanism, it is important to understand. So before starting the systematic literature review or bibliometric analysis, you guys must have a very clear research questions. For the demo purpose and for your understanding, we will start with one research questions. It can be based on one relationship, or it can be based on multiple relationships. It depends upon your choice. For example, we are going to have a scenario of how digital technologies affect healthcare services. So right here, we are having two variables. One is digital technology and one is healthcare services. So we need to find out the relationship of that particular thing with the help of SLR. So for the systematic literature review, we always need a keywords. And what exactly are the keywords? Keywords are basically the synonyms. Keywords are basically the main factors, the you can say the domain of that particular you can say variable that you have chosen for your study. For example, in our case, we took the digital technology and healthcare. So when we combine, digital is one word, technology is another word, healthcare is another word. So we will combine like digital technologies and you can say the healthcare services. And in this case, we will use the Boolean operators. Boolean operators are basically the technique of and or. Like if we use and or, even in Google Scholar, just write, I mean, take two variables and write, for example, digital technology, capital and healthcare. You will find those papers that will help you to refine your research. You will find those papers that either have a word digital technology or either have a healthcare. But if you use the word digital technology or healthcare services, then you will find only those papers that including both variables. So these are the actually ways to retrieve the data from different databases. So what exactly are the steps for doing a systematic literature review? For instance, as I discussed earlier, it start with a research question. Then we need to define a criteria, the plan for eligibility criteria. What exactly it means is, for example, when you retrieve the data from the database, like either you can use the Scopus database, either you can use the Web of Science, and then, for example, you will have the 20,000 papers. It's very difficult for you to review all 20,000 papers. Even if you read 20,000 abstracts, you need months to complete that particular thing. So we need to define a certain eligibility criteria. And for examples, you are not going to include the paper other than English. For example, you only include the paper that have quantitative analysis. So you need to define a checklist. I mean, those papers that have defined your criteria, fulfill your research questions requirement, you can select only those papers. You can exclude conference proceedings, you can exclude memos, you can exclude, you can say abstracts only. You need only full papers. So you have to define the eligibility criteria. Then you can define the plan methods. And afterwards, you can say, you will have a search for different studies. When you have the different studies, you need to apply that eligibility criteria that you have selected, and then you need to collect data. Then you need to assess studies. And while you are assessing studies, when we are doing bibliometric papers, we need to read each paper abstract. We need to check the each paper keywords one by one. If they are 20,000, then we have to do it. Therefore, the you can say the exclusion criteria need to be defined, and the eligibility criteria need to be clearly defined. So you have the clear or the real chunk for your studies. So how we are going to do that? That the Prisma technique actually help us in this case. Then we need to analyze the results, then interpret the results accordingly, and then we can have the future recommendations. So this is the, you can say, systematic literature review steps that we need to follow. And this one, the Prisma technique I'm talking about, it is basically based on the 4 phases and 27 checklist items. And you can say we need to follow this basically technique accordingly, and it based on 4 stages of exclusion. Like you need to exclude data accordingly. Then how it exactly works, the Prisma protocol, you need to identify the keywords, and some databases are going to help you, and then you need to records extracted. After identification, you need to move on to the screening part, that is inclusion and exclusion criteria. And once you have done the screening, you need to do the eligibility, those studies that are eligible for your study for the quality assessment. And in the last, you need to include those number of articles that are actually relevant for your study. Because if you don't know these steps, you can't do the bibliometric analysis. That is the reason we are discussing here. So this is the example of Prisma flowchart. In this case, you can see we started with the 269 papers that we retrieved from Scopus database. These are the 4 steps that I was talking about: identification, screening, eligibility, and included. And when you have 269 papers, we need to remove the duplicates, and we exclude papers accordingly. And we also exclude those who are having missing records. Then we left with the 251 articles. For 251 articles, we need to check the title and the abstract. And out of 251, 152 is not relevant with our research objective. So we need to exclude them as well. And then we, you can say, have the 99 samples, and we need to assess their eligibility. And out of which we exclude 3 book chapters and 5 irrelevant articles, and we have the final sample of 91. Remember, it's as a researcher, it is completely your choice what you want to include, and and you need to define the scope of your study. Like you need to include the book chapters, you need to include the periodicals, you need to include the abstracts, you need to include the other languages. It's completely your call as a researcher. So afterwards, nowadays, and you can say in 2020, the Prisma flow chart is little bit updated. Before that, we were having 4 checklists. Now they have turned into 3, like identification, screening, and included. Those papers, if you retrieve the data from after COVID, like from 2021 to till date, you will find this Prisma flowchart in bibliometric papers. So, they have previously they have 4 checkpoints. Now they have 3 checkpoints: identification, screening, and included. So you can see in this example, they have 2,113 papers, and they have the final sample of 375. Here we have one question in our mind: what should be the minimum number of papers we need to select for the bibliometric analysis? At least 50. If you have at least 50 as a sample, then only you can run the bibliometric analysis. I try to answer like questions that come in my mind. Otherwise, if you have questions, just hold on it. I will answer all the questions accordingly. So these are the 27 checklist points. If you want, I will share this detail with you as well. So far, so good. Hopefully, I'm able to convey you the basics of systematic literature review. So you don't need to panic. It seems very difficult, but I'm going to make your life much easier while we are going to discuss about you can say, the bibliometric analysis. When it comes to bibliometric analysis is basically the quantitative method that used to evaluate and analyze publications, citations, and bibliographic data. So in this session, we will discuss about the what type of bibliographic data it is, and what type of information we are having as a researcher, and what type of information we need to analyze these papers. When it comes to bibliometric, the bibliometric is basically the combination of two words, that is biblio and matrix, where biblio means you can say it's a Greek word and it's derived from biblion, which means book, and matrix is basically the measurement or quantification of something. That is why I said it is a quantitative method of analyzing the papers. So here we are having a very one comparison. It is very much important. I retrieve it from one of the research articles I shared with the management. They are going to share this article with you. So in order, if you are very much new in research and you don't know anything about the bibliometric analysis and meta-analysis and systematic literature review, so here is the comparison that help you to differentiate these three major analysis tools. So when it comes to bibliometric analysis, it actually helps you to summarize large quantities of bibliometric data to present the state of the intellectual structure and emerging trends. Remember why we do bibliometric analysis? Because we need to know to identify the gaps. We need to know which research is very much common and famous in our area of study, and what are the latest trends. Your supervisor, your teachers always ask you, give me the research gap, what contribution we can do made in the area of research. So bibliometric analysis actually help you in that sense, because when you are reviewing so many papers, you will able to analyze the gaps. So meta-analysis is wider in scope actually, that summarizes the empirical evidences and that based on the relationship between the variables. So as I previously we were having the example of digital technology and healthcare services. So in meta-analysis, we actually you can say identify the relationship, the variables, the correlationship between the variables. We can define different themes. We can do methodological analysis. We can do literature-wise analysis. I mean, the scope is quite wider. So it's your choice. It's your call as a researcher. What do you want? What exactly do you want to find, and what exactly do you want to analyze? And when it comes to systematic literature review, and this is basically the summaries and the synthesis of the findings of the existing literature on a research topic or field. This one is actually I am talking about earlier. So for me as a you can say a scholar for bibliometric or systematic literature review, I always have a very strong believer that if you don't know how to do a systematic literature review, you can't run properly the bibliometric analysis. All right, or even you can't do the meta-analysis as well. So SLR is basically the foundation, or is the base of all the further analysis. So what are the alternative words for bibliometrics on paper titles? When you retrieve papers from Google Scholar or databases, you will have these terms. These are the very common terms that, for example, that you are going to find in the literature, that citation analysis, research impact assessment, scientific evaluation, scholarly metrics, publication analysis, research performance matrices, bibliographic analysis, citation metrics, research evaluation, academic impact assessment. It depends which terms actually you want to focus on. Remember, bibliometric is not only focusing on the citation part as well. Later on, we will see like how it covers the quantitative part, how it covers the qualitative part, and how it covers the performance part as well. So it depends which term you want to use and which term actually relate to your field. So then you can pick accordingly. And when I always use the bibliometric web analysis for my publications. I have more than 15 publications of bibliometric analysis, different book chapters I have published in Emerald and you can say IGI publications. I always use the term bibliometric analysis. So you have the a lot of fancy words nowadays, even in the literature. So you can use them as well. Again, it's your choice. So what exactly the application of bibliometric analysis, what bibliometric analysis actually help us to guide? It helps us to impact of scholarly work. I mean, what exactly are the findings of different publications? What exactly the relationships of the variables? Which keywords are exactly important in your area, in your field? And sometimes when we are having a one keyword, for example, let me give you the example of financial performance. There's one variable called financial performance. There are so many synonyms of that one. We can have the firm performance as well. We can have the corporate performance. We can have, you can say, corporate sustainable performance, for instance. So it depends, like what exactly the terms that are differently used in the literature. The synonyms, the variable synonyms are important. That exactly help you to define the scope of your study. And secondly, in bibliometric analysis, your prime job is to mapping that particular thing. What exactly the meaning of mapping here? Mapping means you need to develop the networks, visualization networks. I mean, they are beautiful pictures. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show later on. Then you will see that how these networks are developed and how these networks are actually explaining the relationship accordingly. Then you can do the author-wise analysis. Which authors are actually contributing in that particular field? Which countries are actually contributing in that particular field? Nowadays, people are very much talking about green finance and environmental sustainability. That so many like African countries are actually playing a very positive role in green finance. I'm also the part of one fellowship. I mean, I'm amazed to see the contribution of you can say African continent in terms of green finance. There's so many countries. So you can, when, for example, you are writing a paper on green finance, you can definitely do the author-wise analysis, that which subcontinent authors are actually contributing in that particular area of study. Then you can do it with a journal-wise analysis. Then you can do it with keywords-wise analysis, institution-wise analysis you can do as well. And then you can do thematic analysis as well. Emerging research trends, like those who are from the area of business, those who are from the area of technology, computer science. I mean, nowadays data science is very much in fashion. You can say the programming, especially the programming, we need to know the R language and Python. These are the emerging trends, emerging education trends that are going on. So if you want to write something on that one, and if you want to know something about that one, just read one bibliometric paper. You will have a very much detailed information that so many 100, 200 websites can't give you. And then you can use the technological trend as well. So in a nutshell, bibliometric analysis actually give you so much that information, so much data that you can use and analyze accordingly. So now we will see what type of analysis, what type of you can say quantification, and what type of you can say reporting we can do in our papers. Again, I will cover all, but I will suggest later on which one are the common one and which one you can easily report, because later on we will discuss something about data, and there will definitely be the data limitations as well, until unless you have the access to databases. So starting with the publication analysis, when we are doing, you can say, bibliometric analysis, the first major common analysis you can do is to analyze the number of publications. Number of publications give you the idea, like how many papers are exactly on in your area. And then what are the famous papers, those papers who are having the like which countries are exactly doing that one. So you can do it with the journals and conferences wise. You can identify the productivity trends. You can check the scientific trends as well. Like nowadays we were having one thing called you can say the Stanford analysis for 2% scientist analysis they are giving at, and back end they are actually doing the bibliometric analysis, and then they share the data accordingly. Afterwards we will have the citation analysis. Number of citations means number of times the paper is cited, number of time people acknowledge that work. So citation analysis is very much important. Is basically the give you the indication that citation received by articles and authors. If you can, again, you can do it author wise, you can do it article wise, you can do it, you can say even journal wise as well. All right, because the impact factor calculation is done on the basis of citation analysis. Then we have our collaboration analysis that right now we are actually collaborating. I am from the Asian subcontinent. Most of the people are from African continent. Some other are joining from other continents as well. So this is basically the collaboration. Like as a researcher, we are collaborating from with different scholars from different countries, different authors from different continents. So this is how the collaboration analysis is actually done. And then we can have the you can say journal and conferences analysis as well. So if we need to see the conference proceedings, we need to know the like the visibility of the conferences, because some conferences are Scopus index, some conferences are not Scopus index. So we can even identify this thing as well, and we can sometimes some top tier journals are linked with the conference. So this is how we can do the analysis as well. Next, we have research impact assessment. Like this one I was talking earlier about the for the Stanford 2% scientist experts. So many countries are actually using this and impact, that they are assessing the quality of their scholars. Even Google is doing that. If you just open the Google Scholar, you can find the H index, I index, and this is basically the research impact of that particular person. Then we have science mapping and visualizations. These are we are discussing here about the neural networks, the visualization I'm talking about earlier, the neural networks, the visualization of different keywords, different analysis, and we can you can say show here accordingly. Afterwards, we are having the research evaluation and benchmarking. So we can do it as a institution wise and country wise, the one I talked about earlier. And then we can the data sources and tools. So this is important. I mean, the core of this systematic literature review and bibliometric analysis depends upon, you can say, the availability of data. So where we are going to get the data, this is very much important thing. Majorly, we were having two sources. One is Scopus database and other one is Web of Science database. But we are also having other options available. I'm going to talk about as well what are the options we are having, because mostly mostly countries don't have access to Scopus and Web of Science. So how they can even, you can say, do this type of analysis. So coming back to the point that bibliometric analysis indicators, there are three indicators. One is quantitative, other one is qualitative, and relational indicators. This is basically the bifurcation of these analyses that we just cover here. These 8 analyses. Out of these 8, some are divided into quantitative, some are divided into qualitative, and some are actually the relational indicators. The quantitative indicators actually showing the productivity. All right. And the quality indicators focusing on the performance, and the structural indicators discussing about the relationships, the variables relationships I'm talking about here. So in order to understand this one very much in detail, so we have this one flow chart where bibliometric analysis is divided into 2 techniques. The one is main technique, and then we have an enrichment technique. And if we just see the main technique, there is a performance analysis and science mapping. So all the things that I discussed earlier, you can see it here. I discuss about the publication trends. I discuss about the citations trend. And this one, we talk about the citation and publication related matrices. And in the science mapping, I mean, what type of neural networks, what type of visualizations we can create. We can do it with the citation analysis, co-citation analysis, bibliographic coupling, co-words analysis, co-authorship analysis, even the country-wise, we can do it accordingly. You can see when we are talking about the publication part, we can find out the number of total publications. We can see the sole author publications. We can see the co-author publications and number of publications per year. For example, you can see like COVID happened back in 2020 and right now we are in 2025. So we can see the number of papers each year we are having on COVID pandemic. So this is how we can actually do the year-wise analysis. And then we have citation related analysis, the total citations we are having, the average citations we are having. And then we are having the citation and publication. Then we can have the collaboration index, the number of cited publications, H index, G index, I index. I mean, it's your choice. It's your call what exactly you want to report. And for the mapping, like you can see, let me show you the mapping first. This is the mapping I'm talking about. This is basically the neural network. This is the visualization I'm talking about. And you can see there are different keywords and some keywords are having a very small, you can say a circle. Some keywords are having a very, you can say the big circle. For example, consumer behavior, we are having customer satisfaction, marketing strategy, India, and then we are having the Malaysia as well, Thailand as well. What exactly it is showing? It is basically showing the network. It is showing us the relationship and the size of the circle actually representing the number of times it reported, number of times it is having an impact. As long as we are having the maximum you can say evidence on consumer behavior, the circle will get bigger. And if you see any like variable, for example, you can see the online shopping. So this one having a small circle. That means this online shopping is having the less number of papers accordingly and less number of times it is reported. Another example, and you can see this one, another network we are having. Some variables we are having like social marketing and best practices having the highest or biggest impact. So you can see their network as well. So some variables like for example, you can see the food choices or the marketing, they are having the small impact. So that means a number of times that paper actually reported accordingly and number of times we are having that evidence. So it depends. You are doing it keywords wise, we are doing citation wise. It's your choice that you are actually doing it author wise, country wise, keywords wise. It's totally your call. And what type of networks, again it's a separate debate that how many types of network we can create it. We can discuss in VOS viewer that one as well. So, and when it comes to enrichment techniques, there is called network. So we can develop the networks accordingly. The clusters, what exactly we are having the clusters here. I mean, this is the cluster, that combination. Actually you can see the lines that best practices is connecting with so many variables. This is showing a one cluster. So, I mean, you can have all the data in the software. By default, it is calculated. You don't need to make clusters by yourself. The software will do it for you. And some people report, you can say clusters in their papers. So it's, if you want that information, you can have it from the, you can say from the software. So which softwares you can use, this is important. Like my favorite one is VOS Viewer and Biblioshiny. That basically Biblioshiny is the non-coding version of our language. So normally I use these two. There are Gephi, there are Science Math, there are SIC2. I mean, it's your choice. But WASP Viewer give you the beautiful combination of visualization, color schemes, networks, and it is very friendly to use. I mean, in 1 hour session, you can easily learn how to implement WASP Viewer accordingly. And then the analysis that we discuss here, you can have the formula as well if you want to do it manually, because nowadays software are doing it for you. But if you want to know that how exactly this one is calculated, so the formulas are also given here. All right. Previously, like people use the this systematic literature review and somehow bibliometric analysis on Microsoft Excel. So on Excel, you can say apply these formulas and then you can say analyze the information accordingly. So these are the networks, I mean, that I discussed, you can say, with you earlier. So if you have the maximum evidence, the circle size will be bigger. If you have the less evidence, the circle size will be small. Same applied to here. So next we have the bibliographic data. Basically, the bibliographic information, like when it comes to bibliographic data, so what type of information we are going to have. So because when we retrieve data from Scopus and Web of Science that I discussed earlier, so what type of information we are going to have? We will have the information of authors, document title, the year it was published in, source title, citation count, document type, source type, affiliation, language, abstract, author keywords, index keywords, references, and DOI. DOI is basically the digital object identifier, the specific address of an article. So the question is where we are going to get this information. Scopus have this information. Web of Science have this information, but it is not free. I'm sorry to tell you, it is not free. You must have the access to that particular, you can say subscription to that particular libraries that have the access to Scopus and Web of Science. So how we are going to get this information? You can make this information manually as well. If you don't have any choice, you can make this information on Excel. It is not that much difficult. Yes, it's a time taking, but it is possible. All right. Yes. So we were talking about you can say the information, the excess of information we are going to have. We were having the Web of Science, Scopus, PubMed, Dimensions, and we can either download it from the information and then we can run it in the WASP Viewer software. And if we have the API, API is basically another source of data that is actually running the command. So we have Semantic Scholar. It is free. You can have that one. So Semantic Scholar nowadays we are having, it is a very wonderful tool. Then you can have the maximum number of papers and then you can use it free of cost to analyze the WASP Viewer softwares. But if you retrieving the data from Web of Science and Scopus, then you need to download that data. And if you are retrieving the data from Crossref, your PMC, Semantic Scholar, Wikidata, then you need to run it via API version. And then you can only run this information in WASP Viewer software. All right. WASP Viewer software supported maximum number of sources of data. So you can either where exactly it says you have. I mean, I guess Dimension is free. I'm not very much sure. We need to check on that. Crossref, it is very much, if it is paid, it is very much affordable. I mean, we can easily have the access of Crossref. It is requires some minimum number of dollars you can pay and then you have the maximum information. I mean, you can retrieve the information from that source as well. So this is basically the comparison of networks that supported by each source. If you can see, the Web of Science and Scopus and Dimensions have the maximum number of checks. You can, if you have this information, you can analyze that information accordingly. And then the other have some limitations, like semantic scholar somehow also have the access to each everything. But if you see the Wikidata can't do the co-citation analysis. And if you have the Europe PMC only do the co-authorship and you can say co-occurrence analysis. So it's choice. That is the reason we need to have a very defined data for bibliometric analysis. So we are moving towards the last part of our session. So previously, when your supervisor asks you or you yourself sit down and just planning to write a research paper, and what exactly our criteria is, you have the idea in your mind, you do research and write paper. I mean, this is the traditional method or the traditional approach of writing papers. While I recommend you don't follow that technique, you have to think a little bit different. If you have an idea in your mind, then you need to write paper and then do research. This is what exactly we need systematic literature review and bibliometric papers. First, you have an idea, then you can write paper, either bibliometric, SLR, and then you do your research. What is the difference? What impact it is going to make, and why we need this new method of writing papers? The reason is that once you have done with the bibliometric analysis and once you have the systematic literature review, you have the very solid background of your research. It is, you need to understand this thing in such a way that in order to build a house, what is the first thing that we made? We made the foundation of our house. And if a foundation is weak, our house cannot properly stand. It will not strong. It is not going to last for years. And this is exactly happening with our research nowadays. So if you have an idea, we need to write a bibliometric papers. If any MPhil PhD scholars are attending this session, so I strongly recommend you to please write a bibliometric part or systematic literature review part in your dissertation while writing literature review. It will give you a very competitive edge. So many UK universities are supporting these studies. Trust me. So after having idea, just write paper and then you need to do your research. You know what are the most important factors in your area. You know the most important variables in your area. Who are the major contributing countries, who are the major contributing authors. You can have the information on citation. You have a bunch of information while designing your study. That is why we need to write a bibliometric paper accordingly. So these are the some steps that I discussed earlier. This is a quick recap that we have the introduction of bibliometric papers. We need to have a very clear-cut research objective and research question. And then we need to select some keywords. Keywords are the most important source of retrieving the data. If you have like one keyword or one variable, you must have 5, 6, 7 synonyms of that variable. So you can have the maximum number of papers you can retrieve accordingly. Then you need to navigate the data sources. Then you have the data collection and cleanup stage. Then we visualize pattern and trends, unveiling insights from the bibliometric, ensuring ethical practices in bibliometric research. It is also very much important. This is a step we can't ignore. Remember, we are doing it for knowledge understanding. We are doing it for knowledge creation. We can't take shortcuts. All right. So we need to follow the clear insight, you can say guideline of ethical practices in research. Then you need to craft your paper accordingly. You need to analyze or enhancing the paper quality while analyzing data. Go for the publication and your research will have the maximum visibility and impact accordingly. So why it is you need to do now? Because right now we are having the AI tools. Right now we are having the maximum number of, you can say, information. So let me give you an example. like back in 2012 or 2013, we don't have the WhatsApp, and we just have very few number of videos uploaded on the YouTube. So while I was doing my PhD, there were only 2-3 major software like SPSS. All of you know about SPSS, eViews. All right. So nowadays we have more than 200 softwares, 300 softwares for analyzing the data. With the help of AI tools, people are writing papers so quickly. And that is the reason when we write a paper and we submit for publication, we get the desk rejection. The reason is that the acceptance rate of journals are very less nowadays. It is 3%, 4% only. So they have because they have the maximum number of submissions. So you need to publish a paper with very good quality, with a very good rigor quality, with a very good academic tone of English, and make sure the paper having a very good insights and very good evidence to justify your research. So thank you very much. Hope you guys know something about this systematic literature review and bibliometric analysis. So now we can have QA session. If anyone have questions, we can try to answer them accordingly. Over to you, Miss Julia.
Thank you, Dr. Riaz. We have some questions that came from the chat. Let me start asking some of the questions here. One question. Those of you who have your mic on, please mute, please. Okay. The first one is, how is it different from scoping review? It uses the same Prisma flowchart.
The scoping review and the Prisma flowchart. So when yes, they are actually different. Look, you need to understand when it comes to Prisma, like Prisma is basically the flowchart of you can say scrutinize your data. Let me go back to Prisma, so I will explain accordingly. Yes, so this is basically once you have the information, you need to you are using Prisma for screening purpose. You need to exclude the information. How you are going to exclude it? Like if something is extra, if something is not relevant to your research, if something is not linking with your research question and objectives, that is why you need to exclude. And you can exclude like this. You can see here, like you can, if you have only focusing on the journal articles, then you can exclude book chapters. You can exclude other languages, editorials, irrelevant review. I mean, it's your call, day end. So Prisma, we strictly use it for screening of data. And scoping review is, again, it is just like systematic literature review and bibliometric analysis. Scoping review is again a tool for doing a research. I mean, it's your choice, but in scoping review, you have very much focus specific. I mean, your scope is very much limited. So they are not linked. They are totally different thing. Prisma is something different. You can use Prisma in scoping review if you want to do that. But again, scoping is something different and Prisma is something different.
Thank you, Dr. Riaz. Fortune would like to say something before we continue the questions. Fortune?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Julia. I see there's a lot of fortune. There's a lot of fortunate here on the call. I think it's because majority of persons joining had used my personal Zoom invitation, which is what we shared via email. So apologies for that. We would share a feedback form, and there you would still have to input your name. And I think that's what we would use for the certificates instead of the Zoom attendance. Thank you very much, and apologies for that.
Okay, thank you so much, Fortune. Just want to make one small announcement. The slides and recording will be shared. So when we share the feedback survey after, we'll collect your email address and what name you want to put on your certificate, you will receive the recording and slides. Okay, so thank you so much for that. The next question, let me see. Is there any specific open source software that can be used for this systematic literature review?
There are so many softwares that I discussed earlier. Like I recommended, my favorite one is VOS Viewer. First, second one is BiblioShiny. BiblioShiny is basically the you can say the extension or the database of R programmers. R is a language for programming that is, but BiblioShiny is you can easily run if you don't know the coding as well. It is for non-coders actually. So the difference between BiblioShiny and VOS Viewer is BiblioShiny, I mean, on just upload the information, just upload your Excel file or data file. It will on just click, 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 you will have the analysis automatically. But I'm not very much happy with the you can have visualization quality of BiblioShiny. But for VOS Viewer, if you I mean you see, you will have a very sharp images, very beautiful images, and you can make different networks, different shapes, different designs. Even you can do edit the networks. So I will strongly recommend go for the VOS Viewer.
Thanks so much for that. There's a question here. Is it permitted to remove or merge very similar keywords? Example, computer-aided diagnosis and computer-aided diagnosis. Like with difference in the a hyphen in between the words. If yes, how?
In case like your keywords are very much overlapped, very much interchangeably used, that I gave you the example earlier. Like for example, I gave you the example of firm performance, organization performance, corporate performance. I mean, corporate and firms are the same thing. All right. So the problem is like this is, as a researcher, this is our job to identify. Like we can't use same thing. We need we need to select the keywords while reviewing different papers. I mean, we need to sit down and spend a week at least to check what are the keywords that are actually related to my area of study. So once you have it, you need to make the combinations. All right, different combinations. Like the one I discussed earlier, you need to use the Boolean technique, because some keywords give you maximum number of data. Some keywords don't give you data. Like, let me give you example. I had the experience for there was you can say with one keyword I was using S and ES. Like sometimes we use S and ES with the words. So I remove the S part as well, and then I have the maximum number of keywords. So I, in the inverted commas, I reported in the same manner. Sometimes the keyword is very common and it doesn't give you the exact information. So it depends on for that is the reason I told you earlier, for one keyword you must have a 7 to 10 synonyms at least. And from where you get it, don't get it from the Google. Look at the papers, sit down and jot down all the keywords, and then put the keywords accordingly and make the combinations accordingly. And interestingly, you can put all the 10 keywords all together. Wherever that information available, it will give you that information. So it doesn't make any that much different. So selecting the keywords is a rational decision that depends upon the research question and the research objective you are having. That will explain accordingly.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Riaz. Now we are actually running out of time. So what we would like to do is we have captured all the questions, and we can share it with you, Dr. Riaz, and you could be able to provide some answers that we could capture and attach to the email with the recordings and the slides. If that's okay with you, Dr. Riaz?
Yes, that's perfectly fine. I'll try to answer them all.
All right, no problem. So thanks so much for everyone. Fortune, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, thank you, Julia. Please, I was wondering if you could reshare the slides that has our upcoming event. Thank you.
Okay, I will see if I could share that one moment. Dr. Riaz, can you stop sharing your screen so that I could put up the thing one quickly, and then let's put it one time.
Hello.
1 second. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Yeah, we can
So
see
Okay.
it.
thank you.
We will also put in the chat group the link to our website that have all these events and the registration link and so forth. Okay. Just to quickly say, as you see on the screen, we have an upcoming one on the end of this month. Please look out for it. We will welcome you at our session. And then we have our big workshop coming up on Saturdays in November. That is the getting started doing systematic reviews, a practical workshop, taking you through the whole systematic review process.
Ikisija kwangu naondoka tafuta pengine. Natafuta the true
Excuse, can
version
you
of
mute your
yourself.
mic, please? Can you mute your mic, please? All right.
Kanitagi.
Hi, Julia. I think you're muted. Julia?
Oh, sorry about that. All right, let me quickly say again. We have a session coming up on the 31st of October, as you can see on the screen. And then we have our big workshop, practical workshop in systematic reviews and meta-analysis. That's on Saturdays. Please look out for it. There will be the registration link on our website. Then we have a session coming up on the 4th of December. Then we have in December, the 5th, 12th, and 19th. It's a practical workshop as well, a systematic literature search. So we do look forward for all of you to attend and share with persons who may be interested in doing these workshops. So that's what I have. You put it in the chat as well, the links to our website, and you could view the events with the registration link. Okay, everybody, thumbs up, everybody got that? Yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
then. Thank you so much. All right.
All right.
So any other comments?
Yeah, Julia, quickly, I just wanted to support what you said that we cannot take all the questions because of time, but we'll try to put the questions together in an email alongside the response from Dr. Riaz and send it across via email. So I don't know, before we take like a virtual photograph, if Dr. Riaz has some final words.
Yes,
Certainly.
I just want to conclude. Thank you so much. You can say the organizer, Systematic Research Network, for providing me this opportunity. Hopefully, I am able to give you some insights about bibliometric and systematic literature review. And thank you, Ms. Julia, for being a wonderful moderator. And thank you, Mr. Fortune, for your generous act that I requested you earlier. And it's a wonderful experience for me. And for all the audience, thank you for the very active participation. Now I'm actually scrolling the chat, and people are taking very keen interest. So don't worry, I am fully available. I am fully available on the LinkedIn as well, and you can just write down your questions. I will definitely answer you people, and I'm open to any type of collaborations. So don't worry about that. I mean, even if someone need any help, especially in bibliometric and systematic literature review, I'm completely and fully available for your help. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Riaz. Thank you so much for your interest in collaborating with anyone and answering questions. We're going to have everyone, those of you could put on your camera, and I would like you to smile for the camera, please. Don't worry about makeup and hairstyle and all of these things. It's okay. Smile, you're here, you're great to learning what we have done today. All right, so go give me one moment. Let me take the photo. Everybody's smiling. I see people not smiling. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let me see smiling. Wonderful. Keep it there. One moment. Right. Very good. There's another one, because we have 10 screens. So one moment, smile. Wonderful, I like the big smiles, excellent. Right. Slide 3, let's go. I'm seeing the smiles, come on, let me see the smiles. It's coming through, excellent. Yes, everybody have great smiles today, wonderful. Number 4. Number 4, this screen don't have much persons with camera, but I will still take the picture. I want to see some smiles. All right, cameras are now going on. Let me see the smiles. Come on, everybody have smiles and dimples and so forth. Let's see them, come on. Let me see some smiles, come on. Let's see. 1 second. Okay. Make sure. All right, I'm seeing good smiles. All right, let's keep going. We have a lot of people in this session today. Very good. All right. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I've just shared the feedback form on the chat box, but we'll share it again via email.
Just please fill out the feedback survey to help us to continuously improve and meet the needs of early career researchers. We want to see persons who have joined our sessions and actually applied what you have learned, so we understand our impact. Okay?
Miss Julia, I have one request, if you may allow, please.
Okay, go ahead, one. As I take any pictures, go ahead, pose your question.
All right. So for all the participants, if you guys are interested in WAS viewer workshop, so your answer will be like, you can say this thumb. So if your thumbs are like this, then definitely we are going to have one workshop on WAS viewer. So I will show you the practical application, how to conduct the bibliometric analysis practically.
Okay. Fortune, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, I think we'll discuss with Dr. Riaz and would reach out to the participants on the date and the time and the workshop arrangements. Thank you very much, Dr. Riaz, for the offer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Riaz. Thank you so much to all the participants. Thank you for being engaging. Thank you for staying throughout the whole process. We will share the slides and the recording. Please complete the survey form. You will put your email address will be collected there, and certificates will be disseminated. All right. So thank you so much again. That's it. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Riaz.
Okay.
Thank you, Ma'am Julia.
You're not taking my
From
picture.
Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
You're not taking my picture.
Yes, we took pictures already. You want your picture
Yes.
again? Okay, all
Yes.
right. I could do that. I could do that. You have a big smile. I'll capture that. Yes. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right then. Okay, bye-bye.
Can I have
Bye.
Dr. Riaz's email, please?
Bye.